Hello, hello. I think I'm doing this thing right. I should be streaming to LinkedIn. We'll see. Double check right now. But I hope everyone is doing well. We are in the midst of our 420 by 420 fundraiser with Lifted Lodging, which I'm going to tell you about in just a moment. If you don't know, you're about to know. All right. Oh, I am live there. Okay, perfect. Love it. Let me repost this. Exciting. I'm also going to share. Going to do all the things, all the share things. And that'll give us some time to get some buzz going. So all good. Being accessible, it's very tedious, huh? Plugging in links. Okay. We are now live on LinkedIn, which I never have been before. So, oops. One last change. I don't know about y'all, but I get more and more impatient with technology. I guess that's the way it's supposed to go, huh? Okay. I think I did that right. Beautiful. And now I'm also going to go ahead and go live on Instagram, and then we'll be good to go. If you missed any of the previous lives we've done, yesterday we were with Rochelle Sanchez talking about regenerative farming. You can go to our YouTube channel and learn a little bit about that, how we're incorporating regenerative farming into our day-to-day practices, our day-to-day business practices for the resort. She'll also be hopping on live later on, 7 p.m. This informational session is designed to run every single day for 20 days straight at 1 p.m. and at 7 p.m., which in the evening we'll have specific topics for you, such as regenerative farming and agriculture. Just one of the many things. But we're going to be diving into cannabis tourism and talking with all sorts of talent and those who have experience in this very, very new market, right? Well, unless you're talking about underground. And that's actually, where our Exhale brand got started early on in Philly. Most of our events, our cannabis related events, naturally were underground events. So let me stop yapping. Let me put in this title because it is seriously hard for me to multitask right now. But I just want to make sure we're streaming everywhere we're supposed to be. All right. Get that set up. Okay. The countdown begins once again. All right, amazing. Hopefully everyone can hear me, can see me clearly. Please let me know if there's any interference. But if you don't know me, my name is Fame Noel. And like many of us out here in 2026, I do many things, but one of my passions happens to be cannabis and travel. And when you combine those two things, amazing things happen, right? They go hand in hand. So we are extremely excited to bring Destination Elevated and Lifted Lodging together on our parallel yet synchronized missions of providing, creating And then also allowing for a network to form of safe travel spaces and destinations for the BIPOC community, for the Latina community, LGBTQ women, specifically. Again, there's many reasons why these groups find it unsafe to travel at different points. And, if you have been following our Destination Elevated journey, it literally started off in a 38-foot travel trailer. And we zigzagged up and down the United States. And did we have a resort in mind when we were doing this? No. But what we did have in mind was finding spaces that we could identify as being safe travel spaces, or safer, I can say. Nothing is ever 1000% safe. I know that as an event organizer, but we do what we can. Again, because as a person of color, it's extremely important, to me, for my community to be exposed to the outdoors and the healing benefits of being outdoors. And, yes, self-care is a buzzword and a buzz phrase in 2026, but that doesn't make it any less important or real, right? Self-care is so necessary. And it's something that, within recent decades, we're really getting back into. We've had this mindset. I like to go through like the musical journey when I talk about the mindsets. But if you think about like 10, 15, 20 years ago, it was always like no days off type mentality, right? No days off, or whatever it is you do, you have to be working hard, and, you shouldn't rest until you've gotten to where you're trying to get. And, that's cool for motivational purposes and to keep us pushing through those hard times, right? But we forgot to have that conversation about wellness and how taking care of ourselves actually allows us, right, to go further, go farther. So it's super important, like I said, for us to tie that in to what we're doing with this resort in upstate New York. So upstate New York, we've been talking about it this is going on a year now, just making sure that, again, the various locations that we're looking at are suitable for our needs, are suitable for what we want for our guests. But we've gotten to the point where we have really, narrowed down on a property. If you are a flame keeper, you're someone who has already contributed to this campaign, you are being, of course, grandfathered into the memberships and benefits of this new location. We send out updates via email, so make sure you check your email to see what's going on, because again, we want to keep you guys constantly abreast of what's happening, especially our early contributors. We really appreciate y'all. Y'all are here for the dream, and there is still room to grow. There's still room for early contributions for this campaign. We are bringing the state's first luxury cannabis resort property to you all. And it is right near Canada, sitting on a beautiful lake. The cabins themselves, oh my God, mwah. So the first location we looked at was very beautiful as well. I'm not going to knock it, right? But again, these things happen in property acquisition. Things change for one reason or another. But this property, we love it because it really is ready to go. They have just beautiful, large cabins for families, friends, weekend getaways, month getaways. Just very, very beautiful. It also has lakeside accessibility for travel trailers as well, tenting. There's just so much that this specific, and again, I don't like to call it property because we are big on, again, we are stewards of the land. We're not here to own anything in this realm, but we are here to take care of it. And again, that was a big aspect of this resort acquisition for us as we were on the road, it was about, again, building a space that we want to see. You know, we are constantly building those environments and being exemplary of the changes that we want to see in the world. And by we, I mean even you who's watching this right now, right? Like us together as community. So if we want spaces, right, that are welcoming and inclusive of you know, the LGBTQ community, the BIPOC community. If we want these spaces, we have to participate in ownership, right? Yesterday, if you joined us for the live, we were talking about the disparity, right, in ownership when it comes to tourist spaces, when it comes to hospitality. 70% of the laborers, if you will, within the hospitality and tourism space are in fact people of color, right? Blacks, Latinos, what may have you, are in fact people of color. Only 11% of ownership in those spaces belongs to people of color. So that is a very huge disparity. So it's like we're working in these industries, but we don't participate in ownership. So when, again, life be lifing. And when we were presented with the opportunity to really full scale collaborate on this project, you know, from start to finish, and then be provided with essentially the other half of the investment that we needed to be able to acquire this location, you know, it just seemed right. It felt right. So again, we're currently in the midst of doing our due diligence, finalizing ideas for this project. For those of you who are able to be early contributors and or members for this, you know, you're going to get those day-to-day updates of where we're at, you know, where we're headed. And we're just super excited to be able to share this with you. So we're currently in the midst of the 420 by 420 campaign. What is this campaign, you ask? So we are seeking 420 donors to donate a minimum of $42 to our mission, to acquiring this property that we have identified, visited, are ready to go, ready to sign on the dotted line pretty much. But again, it takes a village to get us there. You know, working in these spaces, I know that there's always somebody asking for money, right? We always need money for something. And these are facts. We do. Money makes the world go round. And one thing about, again, ownership, and this may be slightly off topic, but hey, this, you know, I feel inclined to speak on this. We're not big on accepting handouts in our communities. We want to do everything on our own, right? My own dollar, my own hard work, my own blood, sweat, and tears. But I come to you today, not to sound preachy, to let you know that people who are successful financially, who build these major conglomerates, corporations, businesses, they are not using their own money to do these things, right? They're relying on their friends and family, who some of them may be privileged to have wealthy friends and family. And they are relying on, again, business proposals, loans, bank loans. So what our goal is of course, we're going to have to borrow some aspect of this, right? But we want to be able to borrow as little as possible. We want to be powered by the community. Lisa over at Lifted Lodging came up with this amazing blueprint, really, for being able to offer memberships ahead of time to contributors. So those of you who contribute at the $420 level, there's actually a number of benefits it's going to afford you, especially as a new member. And that's all it takes to be on our first tier as a member for this resort is $420. So what you'll be able to receive is public recognition, of course, of your support on our official website, and a permanent on-site plaque at the resort. which reminds me, I'm going to shout out our contributors thus far for the 420 by 420 campaign. We have Heather Allman, Stanley Hopkins, and Jeff Palmer. We also have a few who shall not be named. They want to be anonymous, which is cool. But we thank you guys so much, again, for supporting this one day at a time, one $42 contribution at a time. I know we're going to make it happen. So by April 20th, by 420, we anticipate having all of our contributions in to be able to make this happen for phase one of our fundraising. So let's get there, y'all. 420 people at $42 a pop. That's community right there. You know, we can build this up in small increments. So what we have so far. All right. So from our weekly goal, we currently have 350 in contributions out of the 5,000 weekly goal. This is day 2. So we're counting a week as a full 7 days. So within the 7 days, our goal is to hit the first $5,000. Again, every contribution counts. This is going to take a village. This is going to take a community. You know, we say we want these spaces for ourselves. Well, this is how we build these spaces as a community. All right. So let me go back to the benefits here. Sorry, I had to shout out, you know, some of our early contributors there. Oh, and you know what else? Let me get everybody, because we have our early flame keepers as well. Brittany Powell, Daniel and Lourdes Sanchez, Selma Zine, and Catherine Attaway Brown. Shout out to y'all. Y'all been rocking with us. All right. So other benefits that you can receive, again, if you contribute at the $420 level, in addition to public recognition, is an exclusive invitation to our soft opening event, which is going to be held prior to the grand opening, 15% off event space rentals at Destination Elevated Resorts, 1 day and 1 night stay. So you contribute now, you'll be credited a 1 day, 1 night stay on the resort. And then also complimentary day passes for self-guided day retreats for you and a guest. So when you're a member, you're able to participate in resort activities. You don't have to book a stay with us per se. Maybe you're just popping through the area and, you know, want to just come and sit by the lake for a little while, sipping a Mai Tai, hey. Priority consideration for future investment and profit sharing opportunities. This is a big one, y'all. You know, we're looking at our earliest contributors as, you know, our village. And when we actually open our investor and profit sharing opportunities, you will be the first to know about it. Because there are limitations, of course, on how many we can open. So you'll be the first to know before we open those opportunities to the general public. We're also going to be waiving, of course, your initiation fee as a new member. So you don't have to look at, again, these fees that new members typically incur for your first year. And Curate, this is a big one too. And I love that already. Outside, of course, the contributions and all of that, there are already businesses that are emailing us, DMing us, and asking about opportunities to actually have their products at the resort. So that is really, really amazing. Again, we are going for the luxury cabin aesthetic. And if you feel like you have a product or a service that, you know, we could partner with, then absolutely hit us up. destinationelevatedtravel@gmail.com. The website is destinationelevatedresorts.com, and you can, you know, fill out our contact form and let's figure out how to work. And of course, we are prioritizing, you know, suppliers of color. That goes without saying, as well as women-owned businesses, partnerships. Super important to us. All right. So yeah, arrival gifts from our international partners. Another thing that is important to point out, and I know I dabble it in here and there, but this resort is not just a quote unquote cannabis friendly resort, right? We're all about it. And not just all about it, like we're also users, like we're the client and the president. That's Biggie who says that. So yes, we you know, not just our users, but are advocates of the wellness component when it comes to plant medicine. And if you were on last night, or even if you weren't, you can go back and watch it on our YouTube. We had Rochelle Sanchez, co-owner of Destination Elevated Resorts and Heavenly Herbs Workshops. She was on talking about how we're going to be using regenerative farming again in our farm to table setup, and why that's important, for businesses, for agritourism businesses, to really embark on. Regenerative farming, just to touch base really quick, is not just extracting. This is how I understood it. She said it in a more scientific way, but it's not just extracting from the land, right? But it's putting back. We are in a cohesive relationship or dynamic with this world. So the activities that we perform on the resort, where we're sourcing food from, all of that is going to be done with wellness in mind, true wellness in mind. We're going to be working with, of course, the local farms as well. We can't grow everything ourselves as much as we would love to, but there is definitely going to be a local partnership base happening there. So again, local international partnerships, we're all for it. We've already been interfacing with, some folk over in Canada as well. As I mentioned, we are literally sitting on the border of New York and Canada with some water in between us. It's just quite beautiful, quite picturesque. And yeah, we're talking to Canada naturally. This is going to be a great opportunity for partnerships and exchange. We're looking forward to renting out some boats to take across the water. We're looking forward to booking with some bus and travel companies to be able to do tours. A Canadian U.S. tour. So there's lots of opportunities here. As we tap into these tourist markets. So again, if you're interested in getting involved on a different level, on a deeper level, I should say, past this early contribution phase, please do not be shy. Send a message. Let me know. We can set up a one-on-one and talk about what that could possibly look like. Because we, again, are excited to bring in some vested partners into this as well. So yes, 420 by 420, y'all. I wish I could have like a live ticker thing happening, but I'm not that coordinated. Like, as the donations come in, that would be dope. But what's happening right now for me, especially on LinkedIn, you guys can see the ticker. Instagram, you can't. But this is good. I'm quite pleased. So we're also streaming on LinkedIn. Make sure you guys follow us on Destination Elevated there. You can also follow my personal page on LinkedIn, Fame Neil. Sometimes it's with Noel, sometimes it's without. Just depends on the personality that day. If you know, you know. But yes, we are again excited, and within about 90 days, we anticipate taking over ownership of this resort in upstate New York and starting to transition the aesthetic over to what we envision for this location. So again, just one time for women in tourism, 2 times for Black women in tourism. We're really looking forward to taking this over and really making it our own and bringing in all of the values that Destination Elevated again has emphasized over the years in our travels. For those of you who are just now following Destination Elevated, years ago we hopped in our trailer, decided to document safe travel destinations, BIPOC-owned campgrounds, going down south, just really plotting out, hey, these are the spaces, if you want to go where you feel welcome, this is the place to go. And that is the same for, again, LGBTQ travelers. It ain't safe. And it is important that we actually put things in place to allow travelers to feel safe, when they're going from state to state, going through those, the boondocks and things like that, which, I don't necessarily recommend, but it's important for us to map out our travel routes, to know where we're spending our money, to know, where we're going to leave feeling like, we were treated with a basic level of human decency and respect, because these things still exist. I think we live in these pockets where we think they don't, but social media and things will tell you otherwise if you really pay attention. You don't have to look too hard. So again, there are so many just idiosyncrasies that exist when it comes to, again, being a person of color and stepping outside of your comfort zone. So again, we made it a point to document safe travel spaces, really highlight, again, campgrounds and events, festivals, overnight stays, resorts that were owned by people of color, so that we could patronize those and continue those businesses on. One of our favorite stays, I would say, was probably it was our first day, actually. We stayed at Worthen RV Park, and this was in Georgia, and I forget the city, but this was in Georgia, and we had an amazing time. We went for one of their weekend events, so you stayed the whole weekend. Everyone who was there for the weekend, and it was one of my first Black camping events. And it's not that it was that specifically for Black folk, but I just, again, remember the feeling of, number one, being somewhere, being out in nature, being out in wellness, being somewhere with strangers that felt like family, right? Not once did they feel like strangers. And if you go down south, they're just welcoming people in general. That's just how I feel. But the thought of being on this land, and these people owned it, acres and acres and acres and acres, and it was our people that owned it, and they were there, and they were kings, if you will, of their own dominion. And just how empowering that felt. And they make it their business, again, shout out to Worthen RV Park, to bring people together every year. And that was our very first stop, our very first feature. You could still find it on our website, Worthen RV Park, if you look at that. But we had us some boiled peanuts. They exposed us to the culture. It was pretty great. But we continue to do that. Shout out to Urban Camp Weekend, Urban Events Global. We also went to Kilgore, Texas, and experienced Urban Camp Weekend for the very first time, which I highly suggest you do 1, 2, 3 times in your life if you're looking for a number one. It's the largest gathering for Black campers in the entire world, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but at the time, at least it was, and I believe it still is. So yeah, shout out to Kevin over there doing his thing, bringing in major sponsorships for this event as well. So we had a blast out there. Kevin, again, didn't just rent the land to have this event on. This is his land. This is his community land, his family's land. And then he opens it up to us, every year to be able to have Urban Camp Weekend. And they do that every summer and every fall. We went during Juneteenth. If you know anything about Texas in June, you probably shouldn't. I'm mad I know about Texas in June. That's how I feel about it. Not to knock your sales or anything, Kevin. I'm just keeping it real about my experience. But no, the experience was beautiful. It was just very hot, so be prepared. But yes, that was definitely an amazing time. And again, just not just borrowing the land, but you being able to be a steward of that land, right? And make sure that it's taken care of and that you're utilizing it for beauty, for community, These are all goals. I look at this location and what we're about to do as being a sanctuary of sorts. Yes, it's a resort, it's a wellness resort specifically, but it's going to be a meeting place, a meeting of minds, community. It's going to be a place where wellness providers go to get their own wellness and to relax and to retreat and to heal and regenerate. So yeah, we're again looking forward to being that space in New York for so many reasons. So many reasons. All right. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I'm just going to, continue just talking about our mission, some features again of the resort in upstate New York. For those of you who are interested in getting involved again on a deeper level, maybe you are interested in our investor deck, feel free to reach out to request that, comment on this post and I'll make sure you get it, or just send us a DM. We would love to chat more about that. And that's the beautiful thing about, again, like what we're doing. When you can do something for yourself and also involve the community in it, like I just feel like those are always goals, right? Again, we're building wealth, we're building wellness the way it should be. We know over centuries wellness has been colonized in a number of ways. So again, being able to bring everyone into these spaces, wellness should be inclusive. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Everyone should be able to experience this. But yeah, speaking of everyone being able to experience this, the resort itself is going to be member. It's almost like a club setup. We don't like to use that word because it's not like a timeshare or anything like that. But you essentially pay a membership each year and you have access, depending on your membership level, to the resort throughout the year. So it's very cut and dry. No, hidden fees, no randomly being charged for something that you didn't want to renew, nothing like that is happening. Our intention with the process of this was to make it very clean. That's important to us. To not make it feel like something you were locked into, like a lot of people have with timeshares. Like that's not what this is. This is really, again, a members based location where, again, depending on your level, you will have access to the resort. You will get so many stays throughout the year. And as well as, different priority services that will be offered to certain guests. We have concierge services. It's just going to be amazing. And we're really excited to bring some of the itineraries to you as well. One day at a time, though. Like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but nevertheless, for those of you who have already contributed to the campaign for us acquiring this resort, thank you so much. We are simply asking for 420 supporters to contribute at least $42, right? A minimum of $42 by 420. It's pretty self-explanatory, right? 420 by 420. Something else we're doing as well, and I'll be putting out information about this tomorrow, is if you are someone who would like to get involved with helping us push this fundraiser, which again, thank you so much. There are people who have already started doing that without us even offering any benefits, and that's super dope. But we're going to be essentially rewarding you with a free membership for so many contributors, for getting so many contributors to sign up. So we'll have more details on that tomorrow. If you would just like to earn a membership, you feel like there are people in your community, either virtually or like in real life, that would be interested in something like this, we want to get you the information and make it so that you're able to share that information and receive credit for sharing that information. So, we're trying to come up with creative ways to bring in the memberships and also simultaneously bring in the contributions. So if that is you, if you are in the wellness space, you don't have to be an influencer or anything like that. I even hate to use that word. We all influence somebody. So if you're someone who thinks that, again, your audience would benefit from this information, whether it's wellness events, travel, tourism, someone who is looking for simply a cannabis forward luxury experience in the great outdoors. If you want to be in the outdoors, like I said, these cabins are pretty nice. You could literally just be tucked away in your cabin. I was just talking to V about that, actually. There's like these little reading nooks. One of the cabins is like tucked away in a corner of like almost this rock. It's very storybookish. Like, again, can't wait to share a lot of the imagery with you. We'll be scheduling another official info session because we're, doing this 420 campaign, but we are going to schedule an info session within the next 2 weeks. So look out for that information. If you are not ready to contribute today, but you want to follow the journey, we invite you as well. Like, you are still community. Thank you for sending us your energy and manifesting this with us. You can go to Destination Elevated Resorts and sign up to join our mailing list. And that way you'll get updates on where we are with all of this. So I highly suggest that. 420 by 420, y'all. We in here. So every day we're going to be going live that would be insane. I'm not trying to do like a telethon style, but I actually am one of these days leading up to 420. But 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. every day, whether it's going to be myself or Rochelle Sanchez on here, covering, again, the regenerative farming and agritourism, as well as some other topics that we'd like to share with you, some other details about this resort acquisition. We're also going to be having on guests as well. So make sure you look out for that. If you are in cannabis tourism and you would like to be a guest, please, again, send us a DM, let us know. We would be happy to have you on to share your experience and knowledge with us. And you don't have to be from the state of New York either to do that. I am a proponent of learning from other people. They don't have to be in my state. Like, that's very confined, right? And we're learning so much, especially in the cannabis space, by interacting and interfacing with people across state, across country, across continents, right? Some of you might be referred to, if especially you're on the website, some of the interview pieces that we did for the Thailand tour, for the High Road tour, with V, the traveling cannabis writer. And again, like, we learned so much just from chatting with, people who are involved, business owners over in Thailand, and involved in cannabis tourism from various aspects, and, are able to even implement some of that knowledge here. So again, everyone is welcome. Everyone is family. We are definitely interested in international partnerships. That would be super dope, right? Like a cross-continent network of cannabis-friendly resorts. Membership-based though, yeah, mad dope. So again, I just want to quickly shout out our contributors from yesterday, or just period, everyone. Our flame keepers, we have Brittany Powell, Daniel and Lourdes Sanchez, Selma Zine, Catherine Attaway Brown. I just want to say you can also get involved as a business as well. So if you're a business or brand, and we can talk about some activations for you for contributing to this campaign. So let's get creative, y'all. And we also have, from yesterday, when we started day one of our 420 by 420 campaign, Veronica Castillo, Heather Alman, Stanley Hopkins, and Jeff Palmer, as well as a few who shall not be named. No. They don't want to be named. So that's cool. We love our angel investors. Angel investment is how we got started with Destination Elevated, actually, being able to get on the road, get the trailer and all of that. So again, everything is everything. Everything is connected. We are moving forward. We don't care how long this takes. Like, that is evident. We've been talking to you all for over a year about this venture. And again, we are just blessed to be able to partner with Lifted Lodging as well as Foxhole Hospitality. We're not doing this on our own. I know some of you are probably looking at our information like, what these girls know about. So one thing about accomplishing goals in life, right? You don't need to know everything. You build a team around you, right? So again, we're just in awe at the team we have. They're getting tourism awards and things like that. Shout out to Foxhole Hospitality. But we have different team players that know their shit and are here to make sure that not only is this a great investment for us, but this is a great investment for y'all. And the team is really excited about this location. We all are. We cannot wait to bring you more content and footage, for this property specifically. That we hope to be stewards of within literally the next 90 to 120 days. So again, if this is something that resonates with you, if you want to see the dream come alive and you want to be part of that dream coming alive, most importantly, definitely hit us up. Definitely hit up if you hit the link in our bio, that will actually take you to our contribution link. Or if you comment on these videos, I'll be able to just send you a DM with the contribution link. Again, this is the 420 by 420 fundraiser with Lifted Lodging. We're looking for contributors to donate a minimum of $42. We're seeking 420 contributors to donate $42 before 420. All right. So we're a little bit behind on our goals, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with a slow start. I'm okay with slow and steady as well. Like they say, slow and steady wins the race. I fully believe that. And I know that, some days are going to be up, some days are going to be down, but we're committed. I know you guys are committed. You guys have been following us and giving your love and energy and support for years now, since we got this, since Destination Elevated started, since before we were even talking about resorts. So again, thank y'all so much for being here. I'm going to, at this point, usually open it up for questions or anything that people may have. No question is a dumb question. Please ask away. And I am happy to answer. And if it's too deep of a question, maybe something that I might not want to say publicly, I don't know what that might be, but we'll arrange to coordinate a conversation, a one-on-one, because again, especially if you're interested in investing, you may have some more pointed questions. So if you want to talk numbers and things like that, absolutely, let's do that. Let's hop on a one-on-one call. We'll get your NDA over to you and then we can move. All right. So Instagram, hey y'all. Auntie said when, oh, I dropped the whole. Thank goodness it paused, because y'all were about to just see my whole room. Like, there we go. Smoking with Larry, what's good? If you're even still on there, what's up? We're coming to Philly. Exhale's coming to Philly. August 30th is the tentative date. This is, sorry, y'all. I have ADHD, but this is another event that we've been doing for a few years now. We do the Exhale Wellness Tour. I've been doing events for over 20 years now. They haven't always incorporated cannabis, just in probably like the last 5 years. But community is important to us. You can see that in the work that we do throughout. We do several community events throughout the year, as well as event planning services. Just a little bit of background about me. Now, Rochelle Sanchez, again, who you'll be hearing from later. I just want to remind y'all, we're going to be hopping on at 7 p.m. later. Her background is more so, with the plant knowledge expertise. She is a cannabis cultivator. Can't wait for us to, again, be able to set up some farm to table details, as we move along. Can't wait to start the planning process for that. Hi, Pop-Up. He always has to make an appearance. Good. Okay, cool. But yeah, we're gonna tell you a little bit about more about that later. Rochelle Sanchez will be on 7 p.m. tonight, hopping back on. Hope to see y'all there. Share, please share the live. Please share this information again to your networks. If you're unable to contribute, sharing is a form of love as well, of showing us love and again helping us to manifest this to come to fruition. So again, I am checking out. If you guys would like to contribute, hit the link in the bio. This is Fame from Destination Elevated. You might be watching this on Exhale, wherever you're watching this, but wherever you're watching from, whoever you are, thank you so much for sending us your energy, love, and light. And we will be checking in with you tonight. These are things that when you're live, you just can't edit. But tomorrow too, that is not a lie. So 1 p.m., 7 p.m. every day, y'all. We'll see you soon. Bye.